I, 26F, was married for 4 years. We got divorced because I found out I couldn't have children. I was content to stay child-free, it wasn't a huge loss. My ex-husband really wants a mini-me and to pass on his legacy. We had a good marriage for the most part, but that was that. I'm not too sad, as I've come to learn there's better out there. My boyfriend is honestly the kindest person I've ever met. I should note, we live in a small town and I have a type. My boyfriend of 7 months works with my ex-husband. They work as military contractors on airfields, doing different jobs. But they work in the same area with the same guys. I really like to cook and bake. I'm trying to not get diabetes though, so I don't eat everything I bake. I used to pack my ex-husband's lunch and would often send him to work with a tray of baked goods. I've taken extensive culinary classes around baking and I've been told the stuff I make is really good. Funny enough, when my boyfriend and I met, he said he always loved the stuff I made for their shop when I was married to my ex-husband. I now pack my boyfriend's lunch and send him stuff to take to work. Apparently a bunch of the guys they work with have been giving my ex-husband shit. Dating had apparently been going very poorly for him. I'm not shocked. Apparently this has been just making him not look forward to going to work. My boyfriend is significantly more attractive than my ex-husband and they're making jokes about how I upgraded from one mechanic to another. My boyfriend doesn't mind because the jokes paint him in a good light, and they tell him he's lucky, etc. He sent me a long message asking me to stop sending stuff to work with my boyfriend so the guys will leave him alone. He also asked me not to come to their annual 4th of July thing. I kind of feel like he's making his problems my problem. I don't feel like it's a fair request. But I'm not completely unempathetic, so I'm willing to stop if most people think I should. Comment 1, he has nothing to say or ask you. If your boyfriend loves bringing all that, tough luck. He has to accept it. And asking you not to come to a party is out of bounds. If he's having trouble accepting that you've managed to rebuild your life and he hasn't, he needs to rethink his approach. What does he think will happen if you don't show up and everyone explains that he asked you not to come? Comment 2. NTA. He needs to talk to his co-workers about their comments and behavior if it's bothering him. You know, like an adult. It's not your problem. Story 2, not letting my niece near my daughter's cake. Okay, so my 26F, husband's 30M, family is really the only family we have. We celebrate holidays, birthdays with only them. My niece, almost 3, is daughter to his sister. She was the first grandchild until my daughter came along. 1. Last week was my daughter's birthday and I refused to let my niece near her cake. Background: my niece is the center of attention for every event. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Easter, she makes everyone sing happy birthday to her whenever it's time for dessert. Even for other people's birthday she has to sit in their lap and have happy birthday sung to her with her name in place of whoever's birthday it is, and she needs to blow out the candle of their cake. I just don't want to teach my daughter to do that to others, so I don't want others doing it to her. Mind you, yes, I judge silently in my head, but I've never said anything to her or her mom. Last week was my daughter's first birthday and it was time for the cake. I was sitting with my daughter in my lap and my niece confidently came over to take her place in front of the cake. I had previously told my husband to not let her do this as I wanted my daughter to have her moment and also for photos and videos etc. So my husband picked her up and moved her away to her mom and said she's not going near the cake. My niece started screaming and wouldn't let anyone sing happy birthday as she was wailing and crying. Everyone was telling me and my husband to just let her stand in front of the cake, what's the big deal, or to let her blow out the candle, but we refused. My mother-in-law ended up taking my niece outside so we could sing happy birthday and get it all over with. Everyone in the family said we were being ridiculous for that and it's not that serious. I agree, it's not that serious. I don't care what my sister-in-law does with her kids and how she parents, but I do feel in this situation it was also my parenting style but would be compromised. I grew up with others blowing out my candles growing up and honestly it felt like it took away from my special day. Might be stupid, but I want to make sure my daughter knows her day is for her and her moments are special for her. I know she's one, but still I think better to start from the beginning to set up for future birthdays. Anyway, I don't regret my decision, but am I the a-hole? Comment 1. Your niece is a young kid, but she is definitely old enough to be taught that the world doesn't revolve around her, and this occasion was a perfect start. You are absolutely NTA. Comment 2. Whoever let that child get so spoiled is an asshole. School will be hell for her, especially if she gets invited to birthday parties. Someone, the parents, need to teach that child some manners. Story 3. Locking the office fridge after someone kept stealing my lunch. I, 34M, work in a small office with about 10 people. We share a communal kitchen, including one fridge. Over the past month, my lunch has been stolen 5 times. Not just random snacks, entire homemade meals I bring from home, gone without a trace. It's not just frustrating, it's expensive and messes up my day. I mentioned it a couple of times in the group chat, like, hey, someone's been taking my lunches. Please stop. Everyone either ignored it or sent vague messages like "Uck, that sucks," or "some people are the worst," but no one took responsibility. So I bought a mini fridge and put it under my desk. Nothing fancy, just enough to hold my meal and a drink. I also put a little lock on it just for extra peace of mind. Since then, no more stolen lunches. Well, last Friday, one of my co-workers, I'll call her Dana, 29F, confronted me during lunch and said it was weird and selfish that I had a personal fridge. She said it made me look paranoid and not part of the team. I said I was tired of my food being stolen, and this was the only solution that worked. She said I should have just brought stuff I wouldn't care about losing, like snacks or microwave meals, if I was so worried. A couple of others have now made little comments like, "Don't let him see your lunch, he might lock it up," or "We get it, you're special." I'm starting to feel like the weirdo in the office just for protecting my stuff. Comment 1. NTA sounds like Dana is hangry now that she doesn't have free lunch. Comment 2. The person who is not part of the team is the one who is stealing lunches. You're not paranoid, there is actually a thief in your mix. That's a fact. You just took care of the problem is all. Everyone who has a comment can suck it. Story 4, being unwilling to compromise on a baby name. I, 31F, am expecting my first child, gender unknown, with my husband, 32M. We have been discussing, arguing about, a name for the last 8 months, and now I'm afraid there is going to be a tug of war at the hospital over the birth certificate. Stylistically, we want very different things. I like classic names. To give a few examples for a boy's name, Martin, Silas, Calvin. My husband prefers more unique names. He suggested both Artemis and Intrari from his favorite work of fiction. I don't want to name our child after a fictional assassin, and he doesn't want to name his child after an old man. Combining one old man name with one unique name/fictional reference seems to create a really weird sounding combination, and we are both arguing over the first name anyway. I would love for this to be a 1 no 2 yes situation and for both of us to be happy with the child's name, but he hates every single name I suggest, and I really don't care for any of his suggestions. I do feel as though I should have a little more influence over the name, if only because he automatically gets the child's last name, no questions asked. I told him that the child could have whatever name he picked out, on the condition that they get my maiden last name, and he refused. I don't actually expect them to have my last name. I was just trying to express that I understand how important the last name is, and I would accept his first name suggestion if I had the privilege of automatically assuming the last name. I am getting less and less excited about the arrival of the child, because it is surrounded by disagreement after disagreement. I feel like I'm not getting to name the child something that means a lot to me, names that I have had in my notes app since I was in high school. He said that he doesn't want to sigh, out of distaste, every time he has to call out this child's name. Am I the a-hole for really sticking to my guns when it comes to the child's name? Does anyone have any suggestions for compromise? Comment 1, remind him you're not naming a baby, you're naming a person who will be an adult for the majority of their life. Comment 2. Exactly. My coworker needed baby girl names and she asked me for some examples because, as she put it, my baby needs a job when she's grown. She settled on a name that was on my list from when I was pregnant with my daughter.